We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Movie Club. You got me, AJ, and we got Sleepy Mike on the other end of the line.
First off,
yeah,
I'm not sleepy. I am reawoken. It's kind of like when a butterfly emerges from the cocoon. I bet he yawned a bit, okay, when that fucking cocooning happened.
What you guys don't realize is before we started recording this, Mike literally said, "I just woke up from a nap." I'll throw your ass under the bus any day of the week, bud.
Damn. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But yeah, we are here to talk about some shit.
Yeah. Specifically, the shit we're talking about is the Equalizer 3.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be blunt. This is my first Equalizer.
Really?
I thought of doing the homework at a time, and I was like, oh, fuck it, you probably know these films. I thought it'd be more fun to go in completely blind. That was a horrible idea.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on.
This might be the worst sequel to do that to in history. I don't know if I think the film is inherently, like, bad, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm not going to say that at all. But, like, I hope you... So maybe you should start us out.
Yeah, if you had never seen one before, you are going in like... I don't even know, like, what a good... It'd be like going in to watch the last Harry Potter movie without having seen any of them. And I'm talking part 2 of...
Do you want to know what I did?
You did that?
I did that.
Did you at least read the books, though?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
no,
it was understanding.
I went with my older sister who had read the books but had never seen any of the films.
Okay.
So it's like she was kind of helpful, but like she had the like kind of book knowledge or different type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going in blind and you have no Sherpa to guide you along, this quite possibly is the worst movie to do that to.
I didn't think it'd be this bad, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Because I think of like stuff like John Wick, which on paper isn't the best for that type of series, but I at least think, I think it's but you could survive type stuff. With this one, I don't think there's nothing, like, it was really hard to grasp kind of as we were going.
Like, there's a whole subplot where they don't tell you until the very end. And if you have no idea what the subplot resolves, or why they show what they show in that, you'd be like, okay, sure, whatever. Obviously, spoilers. But he works with the daughter of his CIA fixer. Like, that's the photo they show at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Those were 2 CIA fixers that he used to work with when he was at the agency.
Mm.
And I want to say they get killed in the second one. I haven't seen the second one in so long. But yeah, so I was like, okay, how is this going to pay off? Because he keeps referencing the Little Black Book, which he had from when he was at the agency. And obviously would have all the numbers in it. And I was just sitting there going like, okay, how is this film gonna... Where is it kind of gonna fit, right? Like, the first one is very like cerebral at times because he does everything like he times everything. Right? He says like, "Oh, you have 9 seconds." Well, he times himself doing everything, and then he's like breaking down how he could have done it faster. So the first one is super cerebral from that sense, and it ends with probably the coolest ending sequence. It's a shootout in a hardware store, and he uses like nail guns and shit to kill
Oh,
everyone.
okay, no, that does sound pretty damn cool.
Yeah. The second one has a really cool open. It's a train in, I believe it's Turkey, and he beats the shit out of 2 guys in on the train. And that ends with they're on, I think it's Cape Cod, and there's like a storm rolling in. I don't think they say if it's a hurricane or not, but it's like a big storm rolling in.
But it's kind of like one of those almost implied things.
Yeah, so they evacuate the island to get people off. And then he's killing CIA guys that have turned and are trying to hunt him down. This one, they don't necessarily make it clear if he knew the Italians were in the drug trade.
Mm-hmm.
They're normally pretty good about like, okay, this, he's going after this person because it's kind of like, what's the best way to describe it? He's like the A-team if the A-team was one person.
Okay.
Right? Like, that's why it's called Equalizer. Like, he's there to level the playing field. And they're normally pretty good about saying what his motivation is. Or, like, why he's doing what he's doing. What they don't tell you is why he raided the vineyard. There's nothing in the movie points to him needing to be there, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you understand like why he's murking all of the thugs because they're trying to rule the town and run everyone out of the town. So he's there to help. But they don't ever tell why he's at the winery. Which is probably going to be my biggest gripe of the film. Because they have done so well with that in the past. That's like, why didn't you give us something here? Give us that he was tipped off, that these guys were slinging these, they like to say it's, I forget what country they like to use in the movie. But it's clearly Turkey. Like, that's the symbol on the Turkish flag. That crescent moon and the star.
Okay.
That's the Turkish flag.
Oh.
So I was like, why are they saying it's some terrorist organization?
They don't like Turkey, okay?
They hinted at being Islamic and Middle Eastern.
Which Turkey is a real
But
well,
why not,
yeah, like it's a weird villain.
Yeah, why not use Iran? Like, Iran's not going to do jack shit. Like, they're never going to see the movie anyway.
But also, like, Iran is one of those countries I think kind of accepts we'll just show them in film and no one says anything.
Yeah. Iran knows their place. Right? Like, they know if they don't stir the pot, they can develop their dirty bombs in peace.
Right.
Whereas Russia's like, no, we got to stir that pot. Because if we don't, everyone's going to forget about us. And when your leader has built his leader on a cult of personality, he needs to be stirring that pot. But yeah, it's just odd that they don't Why don't you just use one of the use
Like
Syria? Use
use a thing
something.
that like Americans at least can understand pretty quickly what it means.
Yeah. And I was like, hold on, wait, that's the symbol on the Turkish flag. So is Turkey the villain? Why would Turkey, like, Turkey's already part of the EU, so why would they have to smuggle them into Sicily? You know, like, there was a bunch of just questions revolving around that, which they don't shore up, but it's such a minor thing, like, unless you know, right? It's one of those things that, like, thinking back to when we talked about Gran Turismo, right? Like, unless you knew the details, what they show on screen doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, that's a good, because that was a good example of those reviews not knowing kind of stuff with video games.
Yeah. Whereas this is like, okay, if you don't recognize that symbol, which granted a lot of people won't, it really doesn't matter. You can say they're from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then it's funny how I like that they were using the CIA money crime aspect. Because, you know, when it comes down to it, the only thing that ever seems to get people in trouble is money crimes.
Well,
You can get away with literally anything else. But if you don't pay your taxes, or you're smuggling money, or you're shifting it for some organization that shouldn't be shifting money, that's when they come after you. I mean, famously, Al Capone only got caught on tax evasion.
yeah, that's very valid.
So. Whereas this, the IRS is a man that will kill anyone, and do it in very, like, grotesque isn't necessarily the right word. Because it's not like he's blowing people's brains out like John Wick does. Right? It's not just unfettered violence. It's violence for effect. Right? He never seems to be doing anything that the end goal isn't achievable in about 10 seconds. So I do like that. I do like how they show that he's kind of, and it's funny because they do it in the other two as well, where he is part of the community. You know, he's kind of developed his place in the community and become one of them. Which I liked, right? Like, it's always a cool part of those films where everything starts to make sense of why he's doing it, because it's, you know, he's protecting his community. It's not like John Wick where
it's the opposite. John Wick is directly not protecting his community.
Yeah. Or John Wick is the reason his community is under threat. Whereas in this case, the Equalizer isn't the start of why the community becomes under threat, but is the end of it. So yeah, I'm curious from your point of view, right? Like, you have never seen one of these movies before. And you just said, yeah, sure. We'll go in blind. What did you think?
I think it's a very fun film. Obviously, I'm gonna say I think there's definitely something I missed. The honest answer is I think some of the stuff that stood out to me was kind of like when you, like, I think the combat was done really well with all of, like, whenever they get into the shootouts. I think it did a decent job of kind of onboarding like a new viewer, kind of, it seems like reminding, but obviously I said there seems to be problems. I think that the shots were pretty cool. My problem is, and maybe I would watch the other, is at the end of the day, like, this to me kind of falls more into the category of, I would argue, a little more generic action film, but I assume you might push back on that a bit.
I mean, This one took way more influences from John Wick, down to this soundtrack sounded like a John Wick soundtrack. Right, like the other two had been pretty, like I said, pretty more a thinking man's action film, where he is planning everything out. He's observing the room. He's going, okay, this, then this, then this. Kind of like, you know how the Sherlock Holmes movies used to do, where it would, like, slow down.
It would do the bad vision.
Yeah, and he would, like, explain, okay, this, then I hit him here, then I hit this, then I hit that. Like, Sherlock Holmes pointed out what he was going to do, and, like, it would narrate that. Whereas these films had traditionally, like, they'd maybe show things that he would use, and then you would see how he would use them.
Okay.
So it's less of the third one.
Sounds better than I think what we got.
Yeah, the third one very much is like, how can we stand on the shoulders of the 4 John Wick films? You know, how can we take what they did and implement it into our story? Because it does feel completely different. Like, there's very few moments, or, you know, very few action sequences in this, other than the opening when he's like, your man's a foot too close. Right? He says that line, and then that's where it's kind of like, okay, so he knows exactly what's going on. The guy's too close, so he knows he can reach his hand, pull it across his body, and it'll shoot the other guy. So you do get some of that from that point of view, but it's not the same. And I just remember they do explain why he's in Sicily, but it's at the very end.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, the one guy, his pension was hacked.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that was it.
And it's at the very end when he's like, here's this money. Whereas every other time, well, 2's a little weird because 2 is like, the opening for 2 is basically an immediate follow-up from 1. So a little bit of that is, they kind of hoped you had seen the first one. Whereas this kind of holds it as a mystery, and you're just like, why? You hadn't done this in the other 2 movies. Now all of a sudden you got to keep it a mystery. But, yeah, in terms of action, I mean, it's funny, right? Because how much can a 62, 63-year-old guy do, right? Like, I'm glad they didn't do the which Taken was it, where there was like 15 cuts to get Liam Neeson over a fence.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, like, they don't do that, which is great, because God, if they had
Thank God,
I would have blown my brains out. But it showcases, you know, somebody that has trained their entire life is still just as deadly, which I think is really cool. I feel like more movies need to start doing that. I mean, Keanu's in his, early to mid 50s. John Wick's gonna have to start, like, showcasing that his understanding has grown to the point where he's not just getting his ass absolutely handed to him.
No, that's a very valid.
Magically surviving. Because at some point, right, people are going to be like, no. You know, and the fact that they're doing a 5th when they clearly kill him in the 4th.
Yeah.
Right, like, I know they say, oh, the ending to 4 is ambiguous. No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
Like, dude takes off his assault belt, and lays there as the sun is rising. He's dying. Like, you're not. Nobody's convincing me that he's suddenly going to be fine. There's just no way out. So, whereas this, they kind of just sunset him. They do it the right way. Because as far as I know, this is the last one. So,
do you think that it feels like to me like Equalizer, I think, is this weird thing. I think John Wick is kind of this weird lane too, where it's these action films that have not evolve, right, but kind of almost have this like in this world of like sequels and films distribution around like it's almost like these action franchises, right, that kind of try to tell some sort of story and didn't just go like pure like it's just explosion. Do you think we have anything left in that era, or do you think it's kind of like we're beating John Wick to the ground and it's kind of like this was kind of the remains with Expendables coming out and the stuff that, like, as much as we don't think succeeded always, it seemed to try to be these franchises while being action?
Yeah, I just don't see how you go any further. Right, there's really not anywhere for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, right? Like, how do you advance the action genre?
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, we had the big bombastic films of the late 90s, early 2000s. We had our Bad Boys 2. Right. Where they blow up half of Havana. To a lesser extent, we had our Transformers movies.
Mm-hmm.
And even those have really... I saw Rise of the Beasts fairly recently. And that is a lot less Abramsified.
Yeah.
Or Bayified.
Bayified, like, yeah.
I mean, it's one and the same. Like, Bay is just more explosions. Like, so it has this feeling of the action genre feels like it's gotta go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like whatever the next James Bond movie is will be the direction that we go, because they kind of lead the action genre. Right, like if we look at Bond movies in the 60s and we look at action movies in the 60s, they were very fun. Right? Because of that.
Mm-hmm.
We had just gotten out of westerns and James Bond comes along and he kind of
reinvents that genre a bit.
That genre is steered by James Bond. Right? Like you can clearly see the influence that Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace and Skyfall had on John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, we're going to build this kind of gruffy, older action star that is doing it for love. There is some redeeming quality to him. So, yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see where they go, right? Like, what would be the next? We'd have the next Bond movie. Supposedly, there's another Bourne movie.
Right. Which I don't understand that one.
Those are more thrillers than anything. Like, those are action thrillers. I guess the last hurrah of these kind of action movies is going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah.
Next year.
Because even like if Fast and Furious ends, like it's this really weird of like this was this genre of these types of films.
Yeah, but Fast and Furious jumped the shark like 7 movies ago.
Mm-hmm. No, it totally did.
So I think people will go to see Fast and Furious for the set pieces. Right? What has CGI been able to do? What is the crazy heist that they're going to pull off? Whereas, I mean, even Mission Impossible, I'm not going to say it's grounded in reality, but there's a lot more realness to them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Equalizer. Like, there's a lot more realism in Equalizer than most action movies. I mean, realistically, like, John Wick is approaching Fast and Furious levels of
very much, I'd say.
jumping the shark. It's just one has cars in it. So, yeah. I will be curious to see where this genre goes. Especially because with the writer's strike, you have to imagine, like,
yeah.
action movies are pretty easy to write.
Mm-hmm.
It's just designing the set pieces. So are more indie studios going to be shooting action films? Right, like, or are we going to go back to the era of Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity and these found footage films that really kind of suck?
Yeah, I'm gonna be very intrigued because like horror was always that way into indie filmmaking. So that like, does that change? Can it change? Do you get like, or here's the other one. Do you get it because like the cost of these things are CG and all that stuff, right? It's not like the extra shooting, or you can make them cheap to shoot them. Do you just see an influx because studios need money, and also you just see a ton of these like 3 years from now?
I think we see a ton of them a year and a half from now.
You think it's that fast of a turnaround type stuff?
I think indie studios are going, okay, we can make horror and we can make action.
But I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, writers could work on indie stuff.
Some are. I think the Writers Guild is saying don't do it unless you're already contracted to do it.
Okay.
Sort of thing. Which I fully understand.
Yeah, I just didn't remember I know the active contract one. I didn't know if there was anything. I thought they were allowed to get pretty broad with the waivers for stuff, especially if it was true indie, like kind of like stuff. Or if they had equity. I thought was the big thing.
I think A24 is really trying to push to.
I thought A24 wasn't in the org thing. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the big.
Yeah, they're independent. They want to work with a lot of these people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, A24 is really pushing to get people under contracts so they have an income source.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'd have to look and see, but if Annapurna is also still independent, I would be buying pitches left and right.
Yeah, no, that's very valid.
Right, like
the ones that are independent, if you can, you have funds to buy pitches.
Yeah.
Or put what is that? I forgot there's that term where a writer basically kind of goes on consignment for a year or 6 months. Like do stuff like that, especially if it's like kind of take the moment, kind of take people you probably either couldn't afford only, or people more willing to be like, ah, fuck it, I can't work anywhere right now. Why waste the time?
Yeah, or I mean, you know.
I am still curious too of like, because one of the studios can break. Like a studio could just go, fuck it, I'm sub-negotiating myself too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that pretty soon. I'll try to keep it as what's the easiest way to say this, like as top level as I can without potentially fucking with the strike. There are studios that are way more into what is being pitched. And
yeah, I can imagine.
there are studios that are becoming desperate.
Like I was reading insane numbers they're losing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the numbers out there. I think Warner is predicting a $500 million loss.
Right, and like the strike annually would cost them like 30 million of like the cost or whatever. Like it's one of those where it's like not a good look, kind of from any point of view.
Right. So, there are studios that are getting ready to. I'd assume they're getting ready, right? Like, obviously, I don't have anyone that's upper management at any of these studios that I can just text. But I'd imagine they are getting ready to have those meetings with their board of let's do this ourselves.
And then hopefully our movie clubs go back to normal sooner or later because I'm really getting concerned of I think we have a month or two of movies left. So we will see. But yeah, that was us for Movie Club. Equalizer 3, I'd say AJ says go check it out, but it is a bit more actiony. If you have not seen them, I don't know if I recommend them. But we will be back next month with, I'm hoping to God, there are movies coming out in October. Yeah, and we'll see all you guys soon. Remember, Payday 3 comes out real soon. Get ready to heist some banks. Peace out.
The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.